Welcome to the Action Drug Rehab Show. My name's Kerry Question. I am the host here on AM 1220, 98.1 FM, your hometown station. And hope everybody's staying nice and cool out there. Man, it's hot out there.
It is not pleasant.
Yeah, so make sure you stay hydrated and watch your tempers and stuff. I mean, I was driving today, and I don't know what was wrong, but people were freaking out. I even got flipped off for doing nothing. I'm like, why did she flip me off? And I pulled up. I could see she's sweating and all that. I guess her air conditioning was bad. No, so be careful out there. But I'm saying. So you know what, Danielle? We got Victor and Mia with us, and Danielle is the program coordinator for our Action Drug Rehab residential treatment centers, which we have in Piru and shortly in Santa Clarita, which is being done. It's just about done right now. Yep. I think I got 8 different people up there trimming trees, cutting trees, pulling bushes. The houses are all updated and done. It's going to look really nice, and we should have that open by end of week.
Absolutely.
So,
and it looks beautiful.
So I'm so very excited about that. We have 20 acres up there. You know, and the good thing is there's 4 houses up there, but I just found out we can add houses.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how many houses are going to be there in a year. So it's exciting stuff. But my goal is, or our goal is to have a drug rehab, a residential, a detox center there, and sober living all on the same lot. We have 20 acres, so we can do a whole lot. And I want to create a sober living kind of like environment there for everything.
Oh, we have the possibilities are endless with that.
Yep. Pool's done. It's commercial pool. Tennis courts are being done. It's really going to be nice up there. We also have 40 horse stalls, so there's going to be many animals in the near future up there, along with other activities that we're going to be doing. So that's exciting. You know, talking about exciting, and also I'm talking to a friend of mine that is going to partner with me in Palmdale. We're opening up different facilities. The soonest one is going to be opening probably within a month or so, and that's going to be in Palmdale, Lancaster. And it's already there. It's already built out. It's already done. And we're just waiting for the state to come. So we should be up and running within the next 30 days. And you know, and then we're opening up in 2 or 3 other locations in the next 9 months. We'll share more about that as we get closer to it. But, you know, I was talking to my friend Ronnie, which he'll be on the show next week.
Awesome.
And he'll be one of my partners in there. I'm partnering with different people in different cities now. But, you know, he lost 3 of his friends in the last week. 3 of his friends in the last week to fentanyl overdoses. Actually, 2 passed away and 1's on life support right now.
The unfortunate thing is it's I believe it, like, without a question.
It's so freaking insane. I was looking at my Facebook. I was laying in bed last night, and my wife, Jessica, and I were going through Facebook, you know, and it's so sad because I'm seeing people that I know, and I worked with 10 years ago when this guy was an adolescent. And I recognized the mom and the child, and I sent them a text saying, so sorry, and all she could say was, Carrie, thanks for trying. You know, but every day, every time I pick up my phone and I go on my Facebook, because I got thousands of people that I'm friends with, I've been doing this for 40 years, and to see the amount of people that's dying, and I've been screaming, you know that, for the past 10 years, how bad it's going to get. It's there now. And the sad part about it is we still haven't even seen the worst of it.
Right.
Because, and I don't want to spend the whole show on fentanyl, but fentanyl is in freaking everything.
Yep.
If you buy cocaine, you're taking a risk of dying from fentanyl poisoning. If you buy crystal meth, you're taking a risk of dying from fentanyl poisoning. If you buy Xanny bars online, you're taking a risk with it's like playing Russian roulette with 3 bullets now, because all the Xanny bars and Ativan and Valiums and Oxycodone and everything else out there today are fake, which means they are 99% fentanyl.
Yep.
So it's so freaking scary. We're testing adolescents right now that are testing positive for fentanyl, and they're only smoking weed. So they're putting it in weed now, too. So if you don't get your drugs, I'm sorry, from a pharmacy, chances are you're playing Russian roulette with your life.
Yep.
And and I'm going to tell you right now, and I've been screaming it, and I'm going to say it again. You're all going to die. If people are using drugs today and they don't decide to get clean and they're using any kind of pills or meth or cocaine or whatever it is, you are going to die. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you out. So I don't know how else to say this. We're not going to arrest ourselves out of this.
No.
We're not going to buy ourselves out of this. We can educate ourselves out of this, but it's going to take many, 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 many years to do that.
Yep.
Which means we're going to have to start when they're, I'm sorry, in freaking kindergarten. And if we give a message out there that heroin kills and fentanyl kills, we're missing the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows heroin kills and everyone knows fentanyl kills. How about all drugs?
Yep.
I never met anybody that woke up one day and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go smoke fentanyl. It's not what people do. You know, they break contracts. They start smoking weed. They start drinking wine. They go to a party and somebody says, try this, and before you know it, who knows what they're doing. So if we don't teach people that it's a progressive deal, that all drug abuse starts innocently and ends tragically, especially today, man, we're going to lose so many more people. And the saddest part about this thing is, you know where these people are found? They're found at home. Most of them by their husband, wives, mothers, fathers, or children.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad.
Yep.
When you walk into your kid's room and you find them freaking dead because of a pill they bought on Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or Victor's got a story, but you could relate to what I'm saying, and I mean, you could give Victor the mic,
please.
and he'll explain how he can relate to this.
Well, Gary, you know, I had a son, my wife's son, and we had bought him a house, and
Yeah, I have to tell you, I miss him.
yeah,
Do you know that I would meet with him at the Starbucks in Piru every few weeks? Did you know that?
yeah. Well, he's had turned around his life after many years of you know, working hard to do that, and he had been clean of all drugs except for he smoked pot a lot.
Right.
But you know, I'm sure that led to other people hanging out with him, and other people have other drugs. And at the end of the day, you know, we don't know what happened exactly, but about 3.5 weeks ago, he was found dead in the house we bought for him.
Yes.
And you know, we don't know the circumstances, but it's certainly an overdose, just because of the way it looks. I mean, he was laying in bed. He was dead for 2 days before anybody found him, and he was in the process of getting his life together. And it's just super sad. But as you say, it's a danger for everybody out there.
When you guys called me, it tore me up. Because I spoke to him just a few days earlier than that. We were actually talking about you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I don't know if you know how much he loved you. I don't know if you'll ever know.
Yeah.
Because you guys had that relationship, but almost all our conversations was how much he cared about you.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I was real proud of him because he was doing good. He was working hard, and it's just a sad consequence of what's going on in the world today. It's dangerous out there.
It's so scary. You know, I lay in bed, and right before I go to sleep, I'll check my Facebook stuff. And most of my Facebook is I put positive stuff for work stuff, as people just kind of feel good. But I'm not finding it's like watching the freaking news. You put the news on, and all I hear is shootings, you know, and devastation, and wars. And I go on Facebook, and all I see is people dying.
Yep.
You know, and maybe it's just the company that I attract on Facebook because of my profession. But, oh, man, it's freaking terrible.
Well, as you say, Carrie, it's not just, you know, back in my early days, because I'm older than most,
I was going to say, you look really good for 92.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I don't even need a walker yet. But you know, back in my day, it was, you know, heroin was a killer, of course, and other things. But, you know, there were other drugs out there, and we'd experiment.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, you can't try anything. because you don't know.
We knew nobody growing up that overdosed
Yeah.
until way later in life, when we got older into our mid-20s, when people then started experimenting with heroin and other stuff, and we had a couple people that had overdosed. Now I know nobody who doesn't know somebody if they're using drugs that have lost friends.
Yeah.
Almost, and you can answer this. We admit people all the time for everything. We admit people for alcohol.
Yep.
We admit people for opiates. But I don't think I've met anyone that have came in lately for opiates that have not been Narcan.
Well, and I think an interesting thing too about that, Carrie, is not just the fact that all these people are being resuscitated and Narcan and everything, but people are coming in saying, "Oh man, this heroin's getting out of control. I need to get a hold on my life before I switch over to fentanyl." And their drug tests come back positive for nothing but fentanyl.
Because there's no
They
heroin
didn't
anymore.
even know they were using fentanyl this whole time. That's what blows my mind.
We are detoxing people from opiates, and the only thing they've been using is crystal meth.
Right.
Because the meth is loaded with fentanyl.
Right.
And then when they stop the meth, they're getting withdrawals from opiates.
You don't get one without the other anymore.
You just don't. It's just insane right now. The scary part about the 3 people that passed away in Palmdale were sober. One had 40-something days, one had a month, and one had so many other days. And what happens to so many people that are out there that are staying clean, they figure that one more time they can do it. And somehow their brain convinces them that one more time will be different than the last 48 times
Yep.
that they've done it.
Well, it is different.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's the last time.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
And the problem with it is when you stop using, your tolerance goes down.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just your physical tolerance. Your emotional tolerance is still way up here.
Absolutely.
So when you use a drug, your mind says just a little bit more and I'll feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Your body says use a little bit more, screw you, goodbye, and you die.
Mm-hmm.
So a huge, and I want people to hear this, a huge percentage of people that are losing their lives from drugs today are people that's been clean for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Or youngsters that decide they can try one pill,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not surviving.
Mm-hmm. And that scares me, is the young ones who are using it, who don't know anything about it. I mean, I remember being in high school, and I there was one kid in my high school the whole time I was there that died of an overdose. One kid. And I can't imagine what it must be like for these kids now in high school who are losing friends left and right to overdoses. I mean, we need to be talking to our kids as early as possible about the dangers of drugs, the dangers of things like Snapchat. It's scary.
I'm not. So people ask me all the time, how old? What's an acceptable age to talk to your child about drugs and stuff? Any age. As soon as they understand what words are, because we need to hardwire our children now when they're young. Because I hate to say it to you parents, but the average parent spends between 2 and 10 minutes talking to their teenager today. How was your day? Good. How was school? It was okay. Have any homework? I done it. Are you hungry? I ate. And they go right back to their room. So you need to catch them when they're young, when you still have time to talk to them. And you're still making an impression on them, because if you're spending 2 to 10 minutes with them when they're teenagers, your impression is not so big anymore. They're now connected to their friends, not you. They want to please their friends, not you. They'll take way more high risk behaviors than they ever were before, because they want to please people, not you, because they're connected to their friends. So it's kind of one of those kind of things. You better start when they're young, man.
My daughter's almost 6 years old, and
better
we
be
are
talking.
developing a huge relationship based on openness and trust, and you can tell me anything, and it starts like that, and we start talking about, don't take things from people you don't know. You tell us everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to develop that trust and relationship with the kids young, or they're never going to tell you anything.
By the way, parents, I dealt with a situation this weekend where a 3-year-old had to go to the ER because one of you smart parents out there left some gummy bears sitting on the table that were loaded with THC, and that poor kid overdosed on one of those. Actually, ate 3 or 4 of those gummy bears. Ended up in the ER and in intensive care.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it seems like things are going to get better, but that's another thing that I've been dealing with a lot in the last couple of years.
That's terrifying. As a parent, that is terrifying.
Well, I mean, think about it, though. I mean, people are going out buying edibles,
Yeah.
and they're leaving them around. If a child sees something like a cookie or a brownie or a gummy, what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to eat it.
And marijuana is not the same marijuana it was in 1990.
Not
It
these
is
edibles.
Oh,
They're almost 100% THC.
Yep.
You put it in the hands of a 3-year-old. Put it in the hands of a 16-year-old. I'm putting more people in psych wards in the last few months from THC than I am meth.
Yeah.
It's like mind-boggling.
it really is.
It's mind-boggling. Anyways, I'm going to throw this out to both of you, okay? Okay. You've been in rehab this time for how long?
Almost 2 weeks now.
And introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Mia.
And how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
And you've been with us before,
Yes.
right? And you've been in rehab how long this time?
About 8 days.
And you're there for?
I'm there for alcohol. I've been there twice before, and it's just it's a drug like everything else, and the addiction to me feels very strong.
And I'm going to come right back to you. And you're there for what?
Meth
And
weed.
And this time was probably one of your worst, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it? You don't have to.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
What
a little
happened?
bit. What happened was I woke up in the hospital, and they told me I blacked out. Had a blackout, and I was naked, and they said I was laced with fentanyl.
What happened?
They said I could have died, and I was very lucky.
So you woke up naked.
Yeah, I woke up naked in the hospital. Well, they caught me naked, the ambulance people. I don't know the whole story of how they caught me, but all I know is when they picked me up, I was naked.
And you did not know you were taking fentanyl.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And I looked at the report from your doctor. It said poisoned. So in other words, you were overdosed when they found you.
Yeah.
And they call it acute poisoning from fentanyl. And you bought meth.
Mhm.
And this is a question to both of you. Okay? Well, I knew when I've been clean and sober this Christmas Eve was 41 years. And when I walked into rehab, one thing I knew is that I couldn't use drugs or drink anymore because it had me so under control. It controlled every aspect of my life. Literally every part of it, from what I did for a living to what I did that was illegal, to relationships, to friends, to car crashes, arrests, everything. When people come into rehab, most of the time they don't come into rehab, as you know, to get 100% sober. If they're drinking tequila, they figure they can smoke weed. Why? Because they don't like weed. If they're drinking vodka, they can drink wine because it's not hard liquor. I'll just drink beer because if I don't drink whiskey, I'm okay. If I don't use fentanyl, then maybe I can use meth. If I don't use meth, maybe I can smoke weed. If I'm not smoking weed, why can't I drink? You follow what I'm saying? So we find so many different ways of keeping ourselves stuck, sick, and screwed when and we know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. But I want to look at it differently because I believe that when you guys do this, you already know the end result.
That's true.
So we're doing something knowing what the end result is going to be. Does that make sense? We know if we use meth, I'm not knocking you at all. You know, I love you to death, right?
Yes.
We know if we use meth or if we use fentanyl, we're going to overdose. We know we're going to put ourselves in bad situations and bad guys are going to do bad things and bad things are going to happen to us. True? We know that, but we still do it. I mean, you were even trying to go back there.
Yeah.
You know, I said, oh, well, the hell you're going back there, right?
Yes.
So And you, I mean, and I want to talk more about this when we come back. I mean, I looked at your track record, and I'm not knocking you in any way, but how many hospital visits were you in the last 3 years? Psych wards, hospitals, ERs.
Oh, I don't know the exact count, although I've seen it on paper, and it's upwards of 30.
30. I read them.
Yeah.
Your wife gave them to me. Over almost 30 different hospitals, intensive care units, psychiatric facilities, ER visits, all for doing what?
All for alcohol. And in fact, I had a serious medical condition caused by alcohol, which caused my esophagus to basically explode.
Right.
I ended up dead from that and was brought back, and for some reason it did not stop me. I now view alcohol as an evil drug just like the rest of them. It's, to me, it was the, I took it lightly for a while. I thought it's just alcohol, but alcohol kills just like the rest of them.
Just alcohol that put you in hospital 30-something times, that took your life from you almost. And if you get caught drinking by the system, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I could go to prison,
For-
tag it over my head for 3 years.
So I guess where I'm going is once drugs or alcohol turn on you and they become not your friend anymore, because they were all our friends. Believe me, I believe that. At first, I loved it. You know, all drugs abuse or drug usage and alcohol usage starts innocently. Sadly, today it ends tragically.
Yep.
So, but once it's not your friend anymore, it can never be your friend again. It will never be your friend. It will always take you down or out.
Yes.
So when we come back, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what it is that keeps dragging you all back to that and what you're losing by doing that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So then we'll go ahead and we'll take a break. This is the Action Hour. I'm Kerry Quashen. My co-host today is Danielle, and we'll be right back.
The KHTS Home and Garden Show is now accepting vendors for our 12th annual event on Saturday, April 29th and Sunday, April 30th, 2023 at Central Park. Get in front of 20,000 Santa Clarita homeowners. Join over 400 vendors at our Valley's biggest trade show. Hurry, space is filling up fast for certain categories. Many vendors call our show the best use of their marketing dollars. To register, visit scvhomeshow.com. Admission and parking are free. scvhomeshow.com.
It's agonizing when a family member is creating havoc in your household with excessive drug or alcohol use. Often the abuse is ignored until tragedy happens. Action Drug Rehab can assist. Their professionals can guide you step by step to navigate your loved one to get the care they crave, bringing peace to your home. With compassionate individual counseling, group sessions, and family support, Action Drug Rehab has state-of-the-art inpatient and outpatient facilities in Santa Clarita. Visit actiondrugrehab.com. Get help now.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
Back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour on AM 1220 and 98.1 FM KHTS, your local hometown station. My name's Gary Quashen. I'm here with Danielle, Victor, and Mia. And so before we went on break, what was I talking about?
You were talking about why we continue using things that are negative to our lives, that we know are bad, we know the consequences are bad, but we end up going back there anyway.
So the question is to you, why?
You know,
And the reason I'm asking you this is, here's what I know. I know the hardest part about getting clean or sober is to make a decision to get clean and sober. Meaning, today I'm not going to drink or use anything. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up and say the same thing. And next week I'm going to say the same thing. And for me, I know it's a one day at a time program, but for one day at a time, for the rest of my freaking life, I'm not drinking and using, because nothing is going to control me like that again. Do you know what I mean by that control?
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Nothing. Not nobody, not nothing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Well, Carrie, that's kind of a tough question. I mean, having
Yeah, I know.
having been very negatively impacted in my life for now a number of years as I fight this, I mean, there was a point in time where I thought, I can control it, I can do this, I can do that. But, I've proven that to be false over and over and over again. I always end up in a bad place.
why would you? Some people say, I want to drink like a gentleman. Why the heck would you even?
Well, obviously I don't, because every time I drink to excess. It's not that I want to have a drink or two, because that's not what I'm out there for. And, it's something that has been part of my life for a long time. At first, like you said, it was my friend. It helped me, in situations, in social situations, in, anxiety and those kinds of things. But at this point, it's nothing but a disaster every time. And even though I've come to realize that, it still has a draw. It's still my number one go-to solution when I'm overwhelmed, such as with, the son's death. I mean, I just, rather than making some calls, working on my program, doubling up on my effort to stay sober, I just go to my first and best, which has always worked for me, which was alcohol. But now it just makes things worse.
Does it work for you?
It does not work at all.
You keep trying, but it keeps failing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those kind of things don't work now.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
If you're depressed, what is alcohol, by the way?
It's a depressant.
If you're depressed, what does that mean?
That means it's going to make it worse.
Every time.
As you say, it takes me out. My wife's struggling with this whole loss of her son, and I should be there to support her.
My heart is broken for you guys, broken for Lila.
Yeah.
And you should not be there supporting her. You should be here doing what you're doing. This is supporting her.
Yeah. Well, at this point,
She needs the man that she fell in love with, not the man that alcohol took away.
yeah, no. Once I had a few drinks, I was no good to her whatsoever.
You're mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you get mean.
I get frustrated. I get,
You scream, you yell, you get violent, you come off, and in general, you're such a sweet guy, man. And I'm complimenting you. You're such a sweet guy. Everybody here loves you.
Yeah. Well, I know that. And, you've been very supportive to me. Action's been great for me.
I'm surprised that you called me, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm always the one who confronts you.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, on your way out, the last time, I confronted the heck out of you.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted to catch you, because I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if you don't figure it out, you're going to end up dead or in prison. And I know that. And it's like, how can you tell somebody not to do something when you know the result? It's just like, Victor, stop!
Yeah.
Don't do it!
Yeah.
Yeah, never again!
Oh, God.
I'm going to get you if you do, got it?
Oh.
That don't work, huh?
No.
Well, Carrie,
That I fixed you just now?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it did.
Yeah. Well, there was, I knew I was in bad shape, and something told me that I got to find somebody who's going to help me, and I made that call.
Yes,
but
you
I was
did.
not in good shape at
no.
all.
I know. I want you to repeat after me.
Yeah.
Screw
Screw
alcohol
alcohol
and drugs.
and drugs.
Not me.
Not me.
Your turn. Screw
Screw
alcohol.
alcohol and
and
drugs. Not
not-
me.
Why not you?
Because I love me.
Because you're a great person
Yeah.
and you can do great things. And you got a fantastic little child that is how old?
5.
That needs her mommy. So what I want you to figure out is, I want you to grow up, even though you're kind of grown up, but I want you to grow up to be the person that you want your child to grow up to be. So from now on, everything you do, I want you to think, is this something that I want my daughter to do? And if the answer is no, don't do it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And do you guys, Victor, you know this too. Whenever you're ready to do something that you shouldn't ought to do, unless you're psychotic, the little voice in your head says, oh no, I shouldn't ought to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to that voice, you'll always do good. It's when you say, I'm going to do it anyways, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Because we always, you know, every time you sit down to drink, you shouldn't do it.
That's right.
You know, every time you think it through, that you got from A to Z to change your mind. It
Yeah.
starts with a thought, and then you got to build on the thought, and then you got to say, make a decision to do what you're thinking, and then you got to go and get it.
Yeah.
And then once you got it, you still got time to change your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah. There is always time. You know, I used to say to myself, well, it just happened. But it doesn't just happen.
No. You want to slip? It's a banana peel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a setup.
Yeah.
So what do we? So how do you? How do I say this? See, both of you. If you could figure out, here's a promise. I promise you this. If you can figure out that you can't drink or use drugs at all, period, anymore, ever again, one day at a time, I promise you two things. One, I promise you a happier life. And two, I promise you a better life. And three, I promise you, you'll respect yourself.
Yeah.
Inside and out. Those are promises. I'll make you another promise. If you drink, you're going to go to more hospitals. You're going to go to more rehabs, and they're going to lock you up. And or you're going to die. And if you use drugs, you'll find yourself in more terrible positions. And you'll be doing this at 40 years old, not knowing what you're going to do in life if you're still alive.
Well, I was going to say, you know, Mia's at an age where she's got a lot of time in front of her. And she doesn't want to be fighting drugs or alcohol when she's my age, is what I used to say. Now I say that I don't know that you'd ever make it to my age if you go back to using drugs just because of what's out there.
She overdosed on fentanyl, and she didn't use it. She overdosed on fentanyl using meth.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Ended up in a intensive care unit, naked and scared and alone. And who knows what happened, because you blacked all that out, didn't you? Well, you know that I'm glad you're with us and that you're safe, and we're not going to let anything ever happen to you ever as long as you're with us, and that we love you lots. You know, and your tears are running down your face. I want to give you a hug. Can I?
Yes.
Come here. Hey, isn't she cool?
She's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, really.
No, for real.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot. I mean, I didn't even have a kid when I was your age, going through all my stuff, and I had a hard time. I had my daughter a year after. I had my daughter at 23. You're not even 23 yet, you know? So, I mean, the struggle that you have going on is just, I can't wrap my head around it. But like Carrie said, think of her and think of what you would want for her to do.
You know what I think it is too, Danielle? I think when she thinks of her daughter, I'm just guessing, that the guilt is so bad and the fear is so overwhelming that she doesn't know how to deal with it. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is it? Or if it's not, you can tell me.
A little bit. Yeah.
So do you know that all you have to do then is be present, be sober, and become the role model that we're talking about, and that fear and guilt will go away. And even your mom's talking to you now.
Yeah.
When you first came in, you said, nah, my mom won't talk to me. So I have a feeling your mom and your kid's going to be listening to this show, because it's live, but it's going to be on tape too. So, do you have anything you want to say to your mom? For real, you don't have to.
Yeah, this time it's real. I do want to be clean, so just believe in me. And I'm sorry, and I love you.
You kid.
And I love you, Ella. And I miss you.
Yeah, it was really neat. I saw Mia with her kid at the Pyru house outside on Saturday, and she was smiling big time, and they were playing together. It was great. You know,
And
that's
what a gift of an example that you can be to her too. Because I mean, oh my gosh, you can come back in her life and be everything that every kid wants. Because all kids want is you to be there. They just want your love and attention for you to be there and be okay. That's it. The rest you figure out. But you're on the right track. Just stay on it.
And you're only 22, right?
Yes.
You know, I got sober at 25 and had no clue what I was going to be when I grew up. Now I own rehabs. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
They put me on television as experts. I fooled somebody, didn't I? you know what I'm saying, though? You're 22, dude. You're ahead of me. You could do and be anything you still want to do and be. Or you could be some crackhead. Or they could say, what's your daughter's name?
Ella.
They could say, hey, Ella, tell us about your mom. Well, she overdosed when I was 8. That we can't have. I want to hear it. Tell us about your mom. My mom's great. I love my mom. She had some struggles, and she was so strong and got herself right out of it, and she's just the greatest mom in the world. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
You got to want it. Look at me. I promise you, you can do this. I promise you that. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure you get everything you need to get it. Fair enough?
Yeah.
I mean it. What do you think?
I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
I was happy when I heard that she was coming back. Not
I know
because,
you were.
not because, oh, she's messed up. But I'm happy that you're trying to get yourself back on track and
You
doing
know,
the
she
right
tried
thing.
to talk her way out of it. She called her insurance company. He said, "Get me out of here. They make me go to groups. I want to sleep." Yeah, well,
Yeah.
We're not letting you go anywhere. Got it?
Got it.
The answer's no.
Huh?
The answer's no.
The answer's no. Yeah, that's right. So anyways, on that note, let's take a break. This is, I was going to say Families in Action, but that's an old show that I used to do. This is the Action Drug Rehab Show on AM 1220 and 98.1 KHTS. We'll be right back.
This is Bradley from Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to 4,465 families in the SCV. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 661-425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Welcome to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, where life-changing moments happen daily. Set out on safari and discover 1,800 acres of sprawling savannas teeming with wildlife, as well as world-class botanical gardens. There's no place like it on Earth. Encounter rhinos, giraffes, wildebeest, and large herds of wildlife roaming together. Journey through the bamboo forests and come face to face with Sumatran tigers. Hop alongside kangaroos and dive underwater to meet the only 2 platypuses outside of Australia and experience the awe-inspiring giants of Elephant Valley. When you're here, you'll discover adventure is in every moment, and a moment can change a lifetime. For your family's ticket to fun, visit San Diego Zoo WildlifeAlliance.org. That's San Diego Zoo WildlifeAlliance.org.
It's painful when your teenager in your household is out of control. Out of control behavior is your teen's way of telling you something is wrong. Sometimes the reason for your teen's out of control behavior is so personal and tragic, your teen would never tell you or anyone else. Actions speak louder than words. Action Drug Rehab can help. With compassionate individual counseling, group sessions, and family support, Action Drug Rehab has been caring for thousands of Santa Clarita teens for decades. Visit actiondrugrehab.com. Get help now.
Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Kerry Question. I am your host, and I sincerely want to thank you guys for coming on today. I mean, you really have a great story, and I believe can help lots of people just listening to you. And I also believe help yourself.
Yep.
Because the more you hear yourself talk, the more you learn about yourself and the stronger you get.
Yep.
So on break, Mia asked if she could call her mom. And I don't know that her mom will listen. My daughter Courtney Quashin just said, "I'm listening." How do you like? How lucky am I for that? Huh? And my wife Jessica Quashin said she's listening. So there we go. I'm on fire today.
There's two.
Thanks, Victor. So we're gonna go ahead and try to call your mom, and if she doesn't answer, you can leave her a message.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'll put it on speaker and you can hold it. We could have texted her. We could have texted her to answer it, no?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we could try that again. You say what did you want, and then we'll text her too.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 53025052003 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Mom, I'm on the radio. I wanted to tell you.
What else do you want to say to her?
And I love you. And I'm going to text you the information so you could listen to us, the whole thing.
There you go, because you left us some really good stuff on the radio, didn't you?
Yeah.
Perfect. You could actually text her now if you wanted. You could ask her to call this phone.
Okay.
So Victor, you're on, man.
All right. Well, you know, you asked the question before about why do we keep going back to this stuff, and you know, I've thought about that quite a bit, and you know, I spent a lot of years in multiple careers before I retired. You know, I was a senior vice president for a worldwide company. I was a vice chancellor for some colleges and some other things. And then I retired, and although I expected that I needed to keep busy, because that's the kind of person I am, because I've been working my whole life,
Right.
you know, I still feel kind of a letdown with that. And I think some of the reasons I go back to drinking is I just don't feel like I've got much more left to do. But when I think about it, really, I've got things left to do. I've got my experience that could help other people. I can work with you on things. I've been going to school, but
You're in school to be a counselor.
yeah, I've got to focus on that and forget about this other stuff. Because
You know,
it doesn't do me any good.
And it sure feels good working with people and helping people. And you go home and you could lay down in bed at night and you feel proud of yourself. You've been in a power struggle, not even with alcohol, not with us, not with rehabs. You've been in a power struggle with your own self.
That's right.
You've been at war with you on this alcohol deal.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm just trying to sabotage myself.
Well, duh. I mean, what other thing could it be?
Yeah.
Because you know if you get caught drinking, you go into prison. You know that. You know that you've been in 30-something hospitals in the last 2 years. You know that. So you know if you drink, it can only be bad. So the only person you are really trying to hurt is you.
Yeah.
What's so bad about Victor?
Yeah.
Victor is a great guy. Everybody loves Victor. Victor now has to let people love him until Victor can love himself.
Well, and I've got to have, more respect for myself and love for myself. And, the problem is that I'm not just hurting myself, and I know that because as I do this, it's it goes out all around me, and it's hurting other people that I love. And, it's just ridiculous.
But Victor, you have a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what you want to do. You're in school to do something right now.
Yeah.
You have a mission. You know what you want to do.
Yeah.
So all you got to do now is go for it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty close to it, but in spite of myself.
Against all odds, Victor.
He's gonna end up being an alcohol drug counselor as a patient with us. He's gonna pass his school, right?
Yeah.
It's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, I may be a counselor before I'm clean.
Exactly. It's funny, but it's true.
Yeah, well,
Do you want to say something to your wife?
sure.
You want to call her, or you just want to say something?
I'll just say something to her. And Lila has been. We've been married 19 years, almost 20, and she's been supportive throughout these last few years, which have been hell for her. And she stood by me, although there are times where I was surprised that happened, and I think she was kind of surprised too. She does have her own support group.
Yes.
And she works diligently on that group, with that group, and that's getting her through a lot of my problems and getting her through the issue with her son and everything else. And, if I would get that kind of support for myself, which is available to me, then I could probably do a lot better than I'm doing now. But I keep turning it down, and I need to just grasp it and go with it.
And realize that the only person you're at war with is you.
Yeah.
So when you're at war with yourself, you can only win or lose. If you're going to play a game that you can't win, you're going to lose. Yeah. If you're going to play a game that's a winning game, you win. So the only winner or loser is you. Yeah. Well, and of course how it affects everybody else, but the end of the day, the winner is you. So it's time for you to start winning, man.
Yeah, start like you say, doing something that keeps me engaged and have some respect for myself and feel fulfilled.
That's right. And we're going to find a purpose and a mission for you. Right now, your mission is to stay clean, to stay sober, to stay with us, and to be a role model starting a couple weeks ago on what you want your daughter to grow up and be. Does that make sense? I want you to be the person you want your kid to grow up and be. That means you got to make really serious, good decisions now. And we love you. And you know that.
I love you too, Gary.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having
I
us.
think it's a great show today. And I know that anybody watching this will get some hope and be inspired. So thank you for listening to the Action Drug Rehab Hour on 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS. Till next week.